Hey guys, happy Monday, March 23rd. I wanted to share with you something I got in the mail over the weekend, something that we talked about, and I told you that these are very important when if you get it to fill it out. There it is, the Census 2020. And this is not just important just for nationally, it's also important for your local communities. So for Mount Pleasant, for Charleston County as well. So when you do receive that, have mom and dad fill it out. It's very important. So today, March 23rd, you have Patrick Henry. And in 1775, he is basically going to voice his opposition to the British policy. And when he does this, he's going to do it at something called the Second Virginia Convention. And he's going to basically just kind of go off on everyone. And when he does that, he's going to come up with his famous statement of, you tell me. I see some of you are trying to figure that out, I guess. But others of you, I heard you say it. And it says, I know not what course others may take, but for me, give me liberty or give me death. That is the statement that he actually made. So after that statement, the king, he gets kind of upset. And when he gets upset, he starts passing these things called acts. So his very first act started with an S. And his second one started with a T a couple years later. And what I'd like you to do is on this post, I would like you to just write a sentence about each one of those. So the one that starts with an S and the one that starts with a T, just tell me a little bit about it, just so that I know that you are actually here and that you are actually paying attention to me. So I wanted to give you a little weekly update of what we're going to be doing. We changed things up last week and we talked as a team and figured out that probably the best way to do this to kind of relieve some of your stress would be to set up a weekly document. And that document will have on it, basically it breaks every single subject down by day. So today is Monday. When you receive that document or your parents receive that document from Miss Nemi, I believe your parents will get it probably first because it will be on it's in place of the actual newsletter. So she'll send it this morning. I believe it's set to send out at 8 o'clock. So I believe now, whenever you're watching this video, it's probably well beyond 8 o'clock. So when you receive it, it has each day broken up into tasks that you should accomplish for each day. Do not worry about working ahead. You'll see on social studies, it's at the very bottom, it's highlighted in blue. It will say 1 hour. So if you stick to that 1 hour of class time, you shouldn't have as much of a problem as you did last year or last week. Sorry. When you work on your material for school, try to stick to a routine. So that means you don't necessarily have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you should get up 8:30, 8:45 and start your schoolwork by 9 o'clock. That would technically be your first period or your second period at that point. And then just kind of run through your day. Set a little timer on your phone or timer on your computer or a little buzzer at your house. Set it for an hour. Work on whatever that specific subject that is that you're supposed to be in for an hour. And then once you work on that hour, go on to your next subject. Anything that you don't finish, you could write down and do that later in the day for homework, just like you normally would. And I think that might start to release a little bit of the pressure that some of you will have. So I wanted to share with you all what today is going to do, what today is going to be. And when you open up your Google Classroom, you'll see a couple things. One of them is a gallery walk. And this is the gallery walk that I'm talking about right here. It says 8-5.3 gallery walk activity. And basically, if we were in school, these things would be hung up in the hallway from my room to Mrs. Bolt's room. And we would basically kind of just walk around and we would get this information. So this is not the ideal way to do a gallery walk, but it's something that we have to do in place of obviously being able to walk in the hallways because we're not allowed to go into the school. So these sheets are just, it talks about the amendments. It also talks about little reconstruction, talks about South Carolina, the South Carolina Constitution of 1868. It shows you pictures of educational opportunities for former slaves, like we've kind of already talked about that. And then it gives you some more information about white South Carolina and the terror that some people put on the African Americans during this time period. So there's the actual reading. And then you're going to get this sheet right here. Each one of you were assigned this sheet right here. And what that sheet does is that sheet will be, every single student gets a copy of this. So you don't need to make a copy. I already made the copy for you. All you have to do is just work on here and answer these questions. So what was the original purpose of the 13th Amendment as it was written in 1861? And I put a copy of that for you. And you're just going to simply just kind of work through these. Now, this is not due today. Let me say that again. This is not due today. You're going to have 2 days to work on this gallery walk. Okay, so in 2 days, let's be real here. In 2 days, you should be able to answer 17 questions. My bad, I'm sorry. You should be able to answer 20 questions in 2 days. So pace yourself, 10 and 10. I think if I counted right, that equals 20. So spend some time looking at those 10 slides. If you want to go on, work through it, work on. That's not a problem. So that would be your online gallery walk. The next item that was posted is a reading passage that talks about Wade Hampton and the red shirts. And we have already talked about this in class, but I'm just trying to get you to kind of remember things. So this is just a reading passage. You're going to read it, and then you simply have 5 questions that you're going to answer below there. You can put it on a Google Doc and you can share it with me. I did not make each one of you a copy of this because simply there's just too much of paperwork that would be then generated, or online paperwork that would be generated. So you can put it on a Google Doc. You can put it on the same Google Doc that you answered those 2 questions, or that question that I just asked you about the 2 acts. One starts with an S, one starts with a T. You can put it on that same document and then just turn it in. And then finally, what you're going to work on for basically the entire week would be this Age of Reconstruction packet that I assigned to you on March 5th, but we had to stop because of our DBQ. So again, each person has been assigned this packet. And the packet is just an online kind of a review packet of what we've kind of already talked about. Some of it might be a little new for you. We didn't talk about the Reconstruction geography. We started to talk about the 5 areas or 5 military districts that the North broke the South into after the Civil War. But I'd like you to take a look at this document and work on this through the week. Okay, so this could be something that you could actually work on during a homework time as well. Okay. So again, this is not stressed out time. This is time for you to actually just sit down and do the work. Try to do it without your headphones in. Try to do it without watching whatever it is that you're trying to watch on TV. I know you can't watch a whole lot of sports. So if you're watching sports right now, you're probably watching cricket from England. Nothing wrong with that, but probably you don't know the whole lot of rules on the sport of cricket. Just focus on what it is that you need to do, okay? Try to stay in a quiet area. Try to get your work done every hour, then switch to a new subject area just like you would if you were actually in school. That may help you out, okay? If you have any questions, I am here. Office hours are from 9 to 11. You can simply just send me an email. That's probably the best way to do it. And I wanted to end with, there are several people that have not handed in a single thing for their DBQ. DBQs were due on Friday. So that means that some of you have not only the stuff that you're getting this week to turn in, now you're looking at last week's stuff as well. So the overwhelming factor at that point, there you go. However, I want you to think about who you have to blame for that. Take a look, because all last week we didn't do anything but work on that DBQ. So you should be able to, or should have been able to get that turned in last week for social studies. I need you to take a look at it. Make sure you turned it in the right spot. Some of you turned it in a different area, and it's very hard to read that way. So if you could go back and place it in the correct area, make sure it's on the DBQ final copy. make sure you put a copy of the DBQ rough draft or your notes. Make sure you put that on that DBQ tab as well. If you have any questions, again, I'm here, and you can also go back into last week's folder, and that will tell you exactly what was due as well. So again, take a deep breath, breathe, cough into your armpit, and wash your hands. Sing the birthday song twice, and scrub under your fingernails as well. Okay? Have a good Monday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.